Hello and welcome to Afghanistan News Today. Today is Sunday, the 1st of December 2024. Bond's historic hull reopens for Afghanistan's future. Iran's new envoy to Afghanistan highlights key goals. UN Subcommittee on Torture Prevention to visit Afghanistan in 2025. The visit of the highest-ranking Uzbek interim government official to Uzbekistan at the invitation of Tashkent officials. Bond's historic hull reopens for Afghanistan's future. 23 years after the historic Bonn Conference, the city of Bonn once again became a platform for discussions on Afghanistan. This closed-door meeting brought together former Afghan President Hamid Karzai and other prominent political figures to explore solutions for Afghanistan's ongoing crises. Karzai emphasized learning from the mistakes of the 2001 Bonn Conference, particularly the exclusion of the interim government, and called for the initiation of intra-Afghan negotiations. According to political expert Ahmad Saidi, Germany has expressed its readiness to facilitate these talks. On the other hand, Ramullah Ghalib criticized the attending politicians, accusing them of self-centered approaches and urging a shift towards prioritizing national interests. This conference comes at a time when Afghanistan faces numerous challenges, including a lack of international legitimacy, escalating violence, human rights crises, and economic turmoil. The meeting has reignited attention to the dire need for cohesive strategies to address the country's pressing issues. In a new report, Iran's new envoy to Afghanistan highlights key goals. Alireza Bigdali, the newly appointed acting Iranian ambassador to Afghanistan, has pledged to bolster bilateral relations and foster closer ties between the two neighboring countries. In a recent statement, Bigdali emphasized his commitment to friendship, brotherhood, and deepening neighborly relations with Afghanistan. He assured that his tenure would be dedicated to achieving these shared goals, leveraging his extensive experience and capabilities. Focus on Afghan migrants. Bigdali also addressed the issue of Afghan migrants in Iran, highlighting it as a priority. He emphasized the need for legal entry and proper management of Afghan nationals residing in Iran. He remarked, "Organizing the presence of Afghan nationals and managing movement will be an opportunity to strengthen ties between our nations." Afghan Ministry of Foreign Affairs responds. Faisal al-Nasiri, Deputy Chief of Political Affairs at Afghanistan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, expressed optimism about Bigdali's appointment. He noted the ambassador's deep knowledge of Afghan affairs, stating, "He's a seasoned diplomat familiar with Afghanistan, and we anticipate broader and stronger relations under his tenure." Transition in diplomacy. Bigdali's appointment follows the recent dismissal of Hassan Kazemi Komi, Iran's former ambassador and special representative for Afghanistan. The Iranian foreign minister's decision to bring in Bigdali marks a shift in diplomatic leadership, signaling a potential reorientation in Iran-Afghanistan relations. Bigdali's emphasis on structured migration policies indicates Iran's intent to address a critical aspect of bilateral relations. Afghan migrants, who form a significant part of Iran's expatriate population, have historically been a point of contention. Proper management could mitigate tensions while fostering goodwill. The appointment also suggests that Iran is keen to recalibrate its strategy in Afghanistan amid ongoing regional challenges. Bigdali's expertise in Afghan affairs and the mutual optimism expressed by both nations reflect a shared desire to strengthen cooperation in political, social, and economic spheres. While challenges such as migration, border management, and economic instability persist, the new envoy's proactive approach could pave the way for enhanced collaboration and mutual understanding between Iran and Afghanistan. In another report, UN Subcommittee on Torture Prevention to visit Afghanistan in 2025. The UN Subcommittee on Prevention of Torture (SPT) has announced plans to visit Afghanistan in 2025, along with Mozambique, New Zealand, Peru, Serbia, Burundi, France, and Mexico. These visits aim to evaluate and address issues related to human rights, prison conditions, and citizens' rights. In its statement, the SPT emphasized the importance of these inspections. The UN Subcommittee on Prevention of Torture (SPT) has announced and confirmed plans to visit Mozambique, New Zealand, Peru, Serbia, Afghanistan, Burundi, France, and Mexico at the conclusion of its latest session. Yusuf Amin Zazai, a political affairs analyst, stressed the relevance of such initiatives, noting, "The government must allow these visits to ensure that the world sees a true picture of Afghanistan's situation, particularly regarding human rights, prison conditions, and case reviews." While the Islamic Emirate has yet to comment on the SPT's plans, political analysts see these visits as a valuable opportunity. Abdul Jabbar Akbari, another expert, highlighted their potential benefits. If these organizations' objectives are realistic, examining Afghanistan's human, social, and cultural rights can be commendable. Such efforts would likely be welcomed by the public. The Subcommittee on Prevention of Torture operates under the UN's Human Rights Treaty system and requires member states of the UN Convention Against Torture to submit regular reports on their implementation of the treaty's recommendations. The SPT's visit could serve as a significant milestone in evaluating Afghanistan's human rights landscape, provided the Islamic Emirate cooperates fully. Such international scrutiny may offer transparency and encourage improvements in areas like detention conditions and the protection of citizen rights. However, the effectiveness of these visits hinges on the willingness of Afghan authorities to grant access and facilitate open discussions. In another news report, the visit of the highest-ranking Uzbek interim government official to Uzbekistan at the invitation of Tashkent officials. Shafaqna Afghanistan, Abdul Salam Hanafi, the administrative deputy prime minister of the interim government and the highest-ranking Uzbek official in the group, arrived in Tashkent at the head of a delegation invited by Uzbek officials. The purpose of this visit is to strengthen bilateral relations and enhance cooperation between the two countries. According to Shafaqna Afghanistan, Abdul Salam Hanafi, along with an official delegation, traveled to Uzbekistan on Saturday, December 1st. Hanafi, who is the highest-ranking Uzbek member of the interim government, made this trip at the invitation of Uzbek officials. The interim government stated in a statement that the primary goal of the visit is to reinforce the relationship between the two sides, and it is expected that the meetings will lead to an expansion of bilateral cooperation. The interim government delegation was welcomed at Tashkent International Airport by Jamshed Khodjayev, the deputy prime minister of Uzbekistan. This reception highlights Uzbekistan's interest in strengthening ties with the interim government, particularly through cooperation with Uzbek members of the group. Over the past 3 years, Uzbekistan has sent multiple delegations to Kabul and has been seeking to enhance economic and political cooperation with the interim government. Notably, in October of this year, after the visit of an Uzbek delegation to Kabul, the interim government announced the awarding of a contract for the extraction of gas reserves from the Toda field in Faryab to an Uzbek company. This 10-year contract involves an investment of approximately $1 billion in Afghanistan's gas extraction sector. This visit signifies the ongoing efforts of both countries to expand cooperation in economic and political fields. Thanks for being with Afghanistan News Today. Till next latest news, have a good time. Goodbye.